Hi everyone, welcome. It's Ear Training Tuesday. My name is Tara, your resident harmony nerd. I'm a professional singer and music educator based in Brooklyn in New York City in the United States. And today's Ear Training Tuesday topic is half steps, which are also known as semitones. The language is interchangeable. Okay, so yesterday in Music Theory Monday, we spent quite a bit of time talking about what a half step is, what's a sharp, what's a flat, and how do we use these accidentals, right? Sharps and flats are both accidentals under that umbrella. How do we use them to build key signatures? Okay, so if that is something that interests you, you can watch the replay from yesterday's Music Theory Monday on my YouTube. It's the same handle. So right now I'm live on TikTok and I'm live on YouTube at Resident Harmony Nerd. Both platforms are in my link tree. So if you're on one, you can find me on the other. And if you'd like to have a deeper understanding of the music theory behind the ear training we're going to do today, then you're going to want to go to YouTube, find my Music Theory Monday replay playlist, and watch yesterday's session called Key Signatures 101, Sharps, Flats, Accidentals, How We Build a Key Signature, okay? So yesterday we learned the theory. Now, like I said, don't worry, you can always watch the recording if you weren't here yesterday. And today we're ear training what we learned yesterday. So what is ear training if you're not familiar? If you're new to my space, welcome to the Harmony Nerd community. My name is Tara and I'm on a mission to make music education more accessible and kind of to remove the elitism from it. So there's no shame in being a beginner here and there's no stupid questions, okay? So if there's something that you don't understand or you would like me to clarify, you can just drop it in the chat at any point, and I pause about every 5 to 10 minutes to go look through questions and answer your questions, okay? So today we're going to be ear training. What the heck is ear training if you're not familiar with ear training? So what ear training is when we use our ears to listen to music, okay? And what we do in ear training is we develop something called relative pitch. What is relative pitch? Relative pitch is the distance, the space between two notes. So when we're ear training, what we're doing is we're attempting to memorize the distance between two pitches, which is called a musical interval. Okay, so we want to memorize the musical intervals so then we can use that knowledge when we're either sight singing or learning a new song or learning how to read sheet music, right? So ear training is going to help with a bunch of different things. It's going to help you develop relative pitch, which is going to help your intonation and your pitch centers, okay? And it's going to help you be able to decipher what you're hearing, okay? And we're working, thanks for the follow, Miss Moth. We are working with the Western scale today, okay? So the Western scale and the Eastern scale are different, right? In Western music, the smallest little building block that we have is a half step, also known as a semitone. So you might have heard people call it a half step. You might have heard people call semitone. The language is interchangeable, okay? They mean the same thing. I tend to use half step, but if you like the word semitone better, you can just replace every time I say half step with semitone in your brain, okay? So in Western music, that is our smallest possible increment between two pitches. In Eastern music, they have something called microtones, which are even smaller. Like they break down the pitches even smaller than we do in Western music. So the smallest building block we have is a half step. So when we're building musical intervals in music theory, we always use the measurement of a half step because the formula will always work out correctly if we build musical intervals in half steps, okay? And why is that? That's because there's 7 tones in the scale, right? Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, and then we're back to do, okay? So there's 7 unique pitches in a major scale, but there's 12 unique pitches or tones in all of Western music, all right? So what we're doing today is we're ear training half steps. And I'm going to tell you what, if you're going to hang around and practice with me, one of two things is going to happen, okay? You're going to get it right away and you're going to be like, this is easy peasy lemon squeezy. Or you're not going to get it and you're going to get very frustrated. I do find that learning how to hear and sing half steps is a lot harder than people think it is, especially if you're new to this. And because the difference between the two pitches is so small, it can be very frustrating to find your tonal centers when you're hearing and singing half steps. So if you've been in part of the harmony community, if you blah blah blah, ricka rewind. If you've been part of the harmony nerd community for a minute now, we've been doing ear training for vocal harmonies. Okay. Now, if you're interested in that sort of ear training, you can go to my Ear Training Tuesday replay list on YouTube and practice with that. Or you can go to my link tree, and at the link in my bio, it's the first one. If you join my email list, you'll be emailed for free in exchange a PDF explaining the basic music theory behind harmony in Western music, as well as how to practice it on your own, even if you don't play an instrument. It's very thorough. Okay, so but today, so we started off with these like larger musical intervals, right? We learned perfect fifths and minor thirds and major thirds and perfect fourths. So if that doesn't make sense to you, go back and watch one of the other replays, okay, on musical intervals. And today we're working on half steps. Okay, so the bigger intervals are easier for our ears to hear because there's more space between the two. Does that make sense? When we're working with this tiny, tiny little increment, this little half step, it can be harder to hear, to differentiate between the two tones, okay? So, I recommend, it could be helpful if you're a visual learner, right? If you're on YouTube, you can see my keyboard here above me, but if you're on TikTok, you don't have that. So, you can download a free piano app for iPhone or Android. This one's by Impala, Impala. It's only for Apple products, unfortunately, but there's plenty of free ones for Android. Or if you don't want to download an app, open a browser. Okay, I'm going to give you a website to go to. That's a free virtual piano. If you're a visual learner, it's going to help you to see exactly what we're doing. And sometimes when your ears match with your eyes, that's helpful. Hi, Dina. Nice to see you today. Thanks for the heart me. Okay, so open a browser, go to virtualpiano.net, virtualpiano.net, virtualpiano.net. Cool. We're going to do some semitone ear training today. Okay, so why is having the visual aid helpful for some people? Because now we've talked about what a half step is, but now we can see, okay? Play any key, okay? And then go to the next closest key in either direction. So for where I'm playing, I could go to this one. This black key here is the next closest key, all right? Or I could go the opposite direction, right? Back to my starting point. And this white key is the next closest key, okay? So it doesn't matter if the next key is a white key or a black key. The next closest key is always going to be a half step away from where you started. Okay, so let's everybody find a C. Okay, the reason I like this Impala keyboard is because it has the note names right on it. So hopefully you can find one like that too. So I'm starting on C4, which is middle C. And I'm going to play every pitch until I get to the next C, okay? These are all the half steps that exist within the Western scale. Here we go. Right? And then we're right back to where we started. You hear how it's the same pitch? One is just higher than the other. It's called an octave, okay? So today we're going to be ear training these tiny little minor seconds. So in music, so we can call it a half step or a semitone. If you want to use the language surrounding musical intervals, we're going to call it a minor second. Okay? And now when we ear train, I like to think of songs that help us memorize the interval. Okay, so a really popular one, I'm going to play it. Let's see if anybody knows. Play it lower. Can you hear this okay? I just realized, would you let me know in the comments if you can't hear this? The Jaws theme, right? Okay, something more modern and super popular that can help you memorize what a semitone or a half step sounds like too is They Not Like Us by Kendrick. Bum, bum, ba-dum. That little sample that's in the background, bum, bum, ba-dum, that is also a half step. Okay, and there are many other examples of half steps in music. Does anybody have an example that they like personally, that they prefer? So pick a song that you like, a tool that you like for your toolkit, whether that's the Jaws theme or They Not Like Us. And what we're gonna do is we're first gonna try to ear train this vocally, and then we're gonna try to just use our ears. So another trick I like to use for half steps is knowing that it's the next closest pitch I could possibly sing. So if I'm really having a hard time hearing a half step, what I will do is slide my voice as slowly as I possibly can to the next pitch, either up or down. So that might look like, ooh, let's say I want to go to the half step up. I would slide very slowly. Ooh, okay, there's my half step. Ooh, what if I wanted to go the opposite direction? I'd slide my voice the opposite way. Ooh. Okay, so did you hear, even though this is the smallest musical interval in Western music, did you hear all of the different little like pitch babies that were in between the first and the second one? So it's so interesting to me because sometimes a half step can feel really large when you're singing it in the vocal instrument. And sometimes it feels so super teeny weeny tiny, okay? So just pay attention to maybe where in your range that you hear half steps better, and where in your range you hear them, it's a little harder for you, okay? Because there will be different areas that we work in that'll be easier or harder. So let's get to it, okay? How is this gonna work? I'm gonna play a pitch, and first thing that we're gonna do is find the half step above, okay? So we can use the Jaws theme, or bam, 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 from Kendrick's They Not Like Us, okay? Whichever one of those you wanna use, what we do is we hear the starting note, okay? We sing it in our head, and then we see if we can find the half step just above by singing it, okay? So I'm gonna play the starting pitch. I'll play it 3 times, and then I'm gonna give you a chance to sing your answer out loud at home, okay? And then I will tell you the answer, and you can check your work, see if you got it correct. All right, who's ready to practice? Show me you're ready to practice by double tapping the screen here on TikTok, or giving me some thumbs up over here on YouTube. And if you're over here on TikTok, I'm new on YouTube. So a great way to support me without spending money is to hop over to YouTube and subscribe to me there. I would be super, super grateful. I also take tips in my link tree. If anybody's able to donate, even $1 helps me keep this daily music edu content. Ooh, I like that. That was an accident, but I think it's gonna stay. Music edu content free. Hey. All right, cool. Here we go. You just taught me how to send a heart. It's okay. I'm an elder millennial myself. So one time I was doing some of these lives, and there must have been a millennial mother, because she said her Gen Z daughter walked in and was like, what in the millennial are you watching? I was like, oh, we're so millennial branded and coded. Like, okay, fine, whatever. I'm enjoying myself. That's all that matters to me. So, okay. All right. So we're going to start. And the first two, I'll show you my keyboard. So if it helps you to have the visual stimulus, you can follow along. And if it doesn't help you, don't worry about it. But I'm going to unmirror my video here on TikTok so that I always get confused because it's backwards for me now. But hopefully it's forwards for you all. Okay, so I always like to start on middle C because that's a great home base. Okay, so if your keyboard tells you note names, it'll say C4. Otherwise, find a C. How do you find a C on the piano if you don't play? You're going to find 2 black keys, okay? Then find the black key, the lowest black key to your left, and then play the note below it. It should sound like this, okay? And on the piano, when we go to the left, we're going lower. Left is lower pitches, and right is higher pitches, okay? So we're going to start here. This is your starting note. Maybe if you have a lower voice, you're going to sing down here, okay? Whichever octave works for your voice. Hear this note. Sing it out loud if that's helpful for you. La. Can you find a half step above this pitch? Maybe you sing the Jaws theme. Maybe you sing They Not Like Us sample. Sing your answer. What do you think the correct answer is? Here it comes. La. So you should be singing this pitch either in my octave or in this low octave. That means you got it correct. So did you see how the answer was right next door? One note to the right. Remember, because we're going higher, and higher notes are on the right. Okay? Did we get it right? How do we do it? Yes, no? These can be tricky, so I'm curious. I'll keep going along and practicing, but if you're getting it, let me know in the comments. And if you're not getting it and you're comfortable sharing, let me know that in the comments too. All right. Next, I'm going to find an F. So the F is the note. We're going to find 3 black keys this time, and it's the furthest to the left at the bottom of the grouping of 3, okay? So this is your starting pitch now. Go ahead and sing it. Can you find a half step above this pitch? Here comes the answer. Ba-da, ba-da, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay? If you're singing this note, then you got it correct. I could go lower, but not higher. Okay, cool. Thank you. I think part of what makes half steps so confusing is because they're so close. Sometimes it's hard to determine if we're going up or down, right? They're so close. You're like, wait a minute, is this the half step higher or lower? It can be really confusing. Similar to when we're learning the musical intervals for vocal harmony. Just another plug to go ahead and join my email list for this free PDF to help you learn how to sing vocal harmony and ear train vocal harmony. Like those can be tricky to determine too, because when we hear a chord, a whole chord, we hear a 1, 3, and 5 all at once. So sometimes it's hard to tell, am I hearing the 1, am I hearing the 3, am I hearing the 5? Just like with half steps, it's hard to know, oh my gosh, am I hearing the half step above or below? I can't quite tell. So let's do 3 more half steps above. We're gonna rapid fire these, and then we're gonna try half steps below, okay? Here we go. And I'm not gonna show you the keyboard this time, so it'll be little magical guessing game. All right, here's our new starting pitch. Here it is. This is your new starting note. Can you find a half step above? Sing your guess. Here comes the answer. Were you singing this note? If you are, then you got it correct. Congratulations. If you didn't get it correct, you need some more practice. No worries, no shade. Just keep practicing. All right, here comes the next one. Low voice, high voice. This really is not very loud. Okay, can you all hear my little keyboard? Is it loud enough? I'm being lazy. I don't want to take the cover off my actual piano. Full disclosure. Okay, thank you, Miss Moth. I appreciate it. Okay, here we go. 2, 3, here comes the answer. Are you singing this pitch up here or down here? That's the very bottom of my range. But if you're singing this note, you got it correct. All right, cool. Let's try one more of these. This time we'll do here for high voices. If you have a really low voice, you might sing it down this octave. 1, 2, 3. Here comes the answer. Answer. Are you singing this note? If you are, you got it correct. Congrats, everybody. And if you didn't get it correct, still congrats, because you're learning and you're stretching your brain. And that within itself is worth celebrating, right? We all know, we all have at least one human being in our lives who will always be the same. They will never change. They will never learn anything new. And how do we feel about that person? Right? That if you're that person, you're not here right now learning. Okay? So if you are here learning, that's worth celebrating. This is my point. All right. How did we do with 1/2 step above? Well, how did we do? Like 3 out of 5? Did we do like 1 out of 5? Did we get all 5 correct? We're going to move on. We're going to start trying to hear 1/2 steps below. Two out of 5. That's really good. That is a really good starting spot, especially if you've never done this before. I've worked with some really amazing vocalists in private lessons that don't have a handle on 1/2 steps. It's really important, and I think that it often gets overlooked in both classroom learning and private lessons, in my opinion. Okay. So now we're going to do, let's go back to our middle C. Our same example, okay? So this is C4. Okay, it should sound like this. And now we're gonna try to find the 1/2 step below. So what tools in our toolkit can we use for 1/2 step below, right? For 1/2 step above, we use JAWS, or They Not Like Us. So for 1/2 step below, we have Beethoven's Für Elise. Right, the boo-doo, boo-doo, boo. Those are all 1/2 steps, okay? You can also use Joy to the World, right? The joy to. The joy and the to are also a descending 1/2 step. Descending just means we start on the high pitch and we descend to the lower pitch, okay? The Jurassic Park theme. Okay, so now that we have all these tools, pick your favorite song. You could also use the same song we used for the other ascending 1/2 step and just flip-flop it. Whatever works best for your brain is what matters here. So, boo. Okay, I'm going to sing Für Elise starting here. Da, 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 da. Okay, so that means my 1/2 step below is ba, da. Did I get it right? I did. Congrats. Yay me. All right, did that make sense how I worked to figure that out? Cool. So let's do 2 more where I'll show you the keyboard, and then we'll do 3 rapid fire, just ears, just listening, okay? We're going to find an F again. All right, so here's one F. Higher voices and lower voices. All right. So here's your starting pitch. Maybe. What am I doing wrong? Okay. It's hard upside down. Thanks for being patient. Okay, go ahead. Use your song, your tool, in your toolkit. Can you find that 1/2 step below? Here comes the answer. Answer. Are you singing this note in this octave or this octave? If you are, you got it correct. How are we doing with 1/2 steps below? Are they harder or easier for you? I'm just super curious. There's no like right or wrong answer. It's not like better or worse if they're easier or harder for you. It just gives us information about how your brain works and how your ear works. And that's really good information as we continue to ear train, that we learn these things about ourselves. Cool. One more. High voice, low voice. All right, here comes the answer. Answer. Are you singing this note? If you are, you got it correct. Cacophony. All right. More difficult to go low to high. Okay, so you're having an easier time with this. I love that. Hey, Mark's Music. Are you still here? I haven't seen you in so long. Welcome. It's nice to see you. If you're not still here, that's okay too. I'll see you soon. Okay, cool. Let's do 3 rapid fire. Here we go. No visual. All right. Number 1. High voice, low voice. I'm going to play 3 times and then comes the answer. So sing your guess. Here we go. Sing your answer. Here it comes. If you're on this pitch, then you got it correct. Boo doo 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 doo. Joy to the world. Joy to. That's the answer. Okay. Half steps can also really kind of grate on the ear. When I was just doing that, playing and singing it, it was like, oh, this is so dissonant. So dissonant is the technical music theory word for crunchy, right? I feel like a lot of people on social media are like, give me those crunchy harmonies. Well, the technical term for crunchy is dissonant. So a minor second is a crunchy or a dissonant musical interval. All right, 2 more. Here we go. New one. Low voice, high voice. 1, 2, 3. Sing your guess. Here comes the answer. Answer. Are you singing this note or this note? If you are, you got it correct. And last one. Here we go. Low voice, high voice. Ready for the answer? Here it comes. Answer. If you're singing this note, then you got it correct. Or down here if you have a low voice. How do we do with those? Okay, so we're gonna do one more exercise, and this is gonna be super hard. This will be hard for me, and I've been a professional musician for 15 years, okay? So if you don't do well with this one, there's no beating yourself up. You hear me? Okay. So there'll be no visual stimulus for this, no keyboard. You can look at your own if you want at home, but I'm not gonna show you mine. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to play for you a minor second. There'll be pitch number 1 and pitch number 2, okay? And I will say that. I'll say pitch number 1 and I'll play it, pitch number 2 and I'll play it, okay? Why is it important which one comes first? Because you're going to figure out, is this low to high or high to low? Is this an ascending, right? Low to high, minor second, or a descending going from high to low, minor second? This is so tricky to straighten out in your ear and in your brain. So this is going to be a really challenging exercise, and we'll do 6 in total, okay? Are you ready to begin? Give me a double tap. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you're ready to start by showing some love. Hey, Raphael, nice to see you today. All right, awesome. Okay, here is pitch number 1. Pitch number 1, and here comes pitch number 2. Pitch number 2. All right. You want to hear it one more time? Pitch number 1, pitch number 2. Okay, was that a high to low minor second or a low note to high note minor second? Ascending or descending? If you feel brave, type your guess in the chat. Remember, this is super tricky. Ascending, good guess. So another way, besides just doing this with my ears, a way that I would check my work is I would sing it too, right? Like, okay, wait. So this is 1, 2, 1. Does Jaws work with that? 1. No, Jaws is the other way. So then that must mean it's Furley's. 1, 1, 1, 2. Okay, yes, this is from high to low because it worked with Furley. So that was a descending. Yes, high to low. Yep, you fixed it. Good work. Congratulations. All we can ask is that we learn, right? Practice makes progress, not perfection. No such thing as perfection. It for humans anyway. Okay, here, let's try another one. Pitch number 1, pitch number 2. Ascending or descending? Low to high or high to low? Pitch number 1, pitch number 2. So if your ears can't tell just by listening, try singing it. Can you tell by singing it? If you can't tell just by singing it, apply the songs that we just learned for ear training minor seconds. Does that work for you? Descending. Heck yeah, Miss Moth. That one was correct. Fantastic. All right, here we go. Next. Pitch number 1, pitch number 2. Pitch number 1, pitch number 2. Are we ascending or descending this minor second? High to low or low to high? Pitch number 1, pitch number 2. Oh. There's a cute little female blue jay that just landed outside my window. Oh, she's so little. So cute. So that one was ascending. Pitch number 1, pitch number 2, from low to high. How do we know? It suits the Jaws theme. Ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-da-da-dum. It also suits the sample from They Not Like Us. Bam, 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 bam. Okay. Cool. Let's do 3 more. Here's your next one. Pitch number 1, pitch number 2. Are we ascending or descending this minor second? One more time, here we go. Pitch number 1, pitch number 2. Go ahead and make your final guess because here comes the answer. It is an ascending minor second. Ba-ba-ba-dum. Bum-bum-ba-dum. Okay. Cool. Last 2. Here we go. First pitch, second pitch. First pitch, second pitch. First pitch, second pitch. Here comes the answer. This is a descending minor second. How do we know? Ba da 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 da. For Elise. Or joy to the world. Joy to. Okay. Friendly reminder that if this is tricky for you, no worries. Training the ear in half steps is hard. It can take time. Okay. And our last one. Here we go. Pitch number 1, pitch number 2. Pitch number 1, pitch number 2. Ready for the answer? That one is ascending. 1, 2, bum, bum, bum. So we had 3 descendings and 3 ascendings. How did you all do at home? 0 out of 6, 2 out of 6, 6 out of 6. Are there any questions? I'm going to log off in about 5 minutes. So if there's any questions on semitones, half steps, ear training, really anything, this time is for you all, right? I wanted to create these free offerings in order to make music education more accessible. So if you have any questions about the content that we worked on today, ear training, these minor seconds, or if you have questions about anything, music theory, ear training, how I became a professional singer, any of that stuff is welcome in these last 5 minutes. So while I am waiting, oh no, Miss Ma, rest in peace. All right, so I'm going to encourage you to not get discouraged, though, because it does improve with practice. And if you would like to review this information and keep practicing to get better at it, you can watch the replay on YouTube, same handle at Resident Harmony Nerd. Go to Ear Training Tuesday replays, and you can rewatch today's session or ear train some more fun intervals. No judgment to minor seconds, but they're a little spooky and dissonant. So we can ear train some more exciting intervals as well. If you go to that replays playlist, you'll learn some of these vocal harmony intervals. So if you're new to the community, welcome to the Harmony Nerd community. My name is Tara, your resident Harmony Nerd. I've been a professional singer in New York City for 15 years now. Wow. I'm also a singing coach, music educator, and content creator. And I have daily offerings 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, to make music education more accessible to the general population. I learned really quickly in my content creation journey, which started about a year ago, that people want music knowledge, but it's like it's gate-kept or like veiled in this cloth of elitism. So I'm trying to break it down in digestible and accessible ways. I do have paid offerings as well, so there are several ways to support me if you enjoy this free music education content. Okay, one is to go to my Linktree, join my email list. It's the first button there, and in exchange for your email, you'll get a free PDF with the music theory basics and ear training basics for vocal harmony. Okay, and great news, I don't send out emails very often. I think I've only done it once since I've started the email list, which was about a year ago. But I am building up some paid offerings such as like group singing lessons and group music theory lessons in order to make this education more intense and more affordable for people who want to dive deeper but don't want to pay for one-to-one lessons, right? Because they're very expensive. I do teach one-to-one lessons as well, piano and singing, music theory, performance technique, all those good things. But it's expensive. It's $150 an hour. There are discounts if you buy in packages, but training musically one-to-one is expensive. Any sort of education one-to-one, any sort of tutoring is expensive. But I also want to figure out ways to make this information more accessible. So if anybody has any suggestions or thoughts, I'm definitely open to that. So other ways to support me without spending money, besides joining my email list, are to like, follow, share, send this to some of your friends who you think might like to learn music theory or ear training or singing technique. If you're on TikTok, please go subscribe on YouTube. I'm new on YouTube. Every subscription really helps right now. You can also send me gifts on TikTok. You can send me a tip at my Linktree. Even $1 helps keep this content free. Okay, and if you're not in a place where you can send $1 or $2, that's totally cool, right? The point of this is to make this information more accessible to the general population, because I do believe that the wrong people benefit when we don't use our creative energies. So I want to encourage people as much as I can to lean in to their creative edges and to share it with the world. So with that being said, my offerings are Music Theory Mondays. Okay, so if you were participating in Ear Training Tuesday today and there was some stuff you didn't understand and you're like, I would like to go back and watch that again, or learn more about the music theory, go to YouTube, Music Theory Mondays replay. Yesterday we talked about sharps and flats, which are these half steps, these semitones. And we also learned how to build key signatures. Okay. Tomorrow's warm up Wednesday, but y'all, I'm having oral surgery in like an hour. So it might get canceled. Keep your eye on my stories. Okay, right now it's scheduled for 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. Time will tell if I'm able to do it tomorrow. So I'm having a tongue tie release, which means I have to do all these like tongue exercises and stuff. So if I do log on tomorrow for warm up Wednesday, it'll be just to go through these tongue stretches and exercises, which have already made a huge difference in my singing voice. It's been really exciting. So if you're interested in learning more about what a tongue tie is and following that journey, I've created content about it on my YouTube shorts and my TikToks. So you can learn more about that there. But what Warm Up Wednesday usually is my vocal warm up routine as a professional singer, so that you can develop your own warm up routine as well. And then on Thursdays, we do free voice lesson Thursdays. I teach you a singing technique for free. And then on Fridays, we do Frequency Friday, which Frequency Friday is like the soul piece of creation, right? How do we put ourselves out there? How do we build our confidence? How do we feel good about putting ourselves out into a world that is like historically cruel, especially to people who are starting out or just finding their way, right? So that's why we're building a really supportive, loving community here, so that we have safe spaces to explore all of this stuff. So I hope you'll join me for Frequency Friday. The birds are really coming out right now. It's nice to see them. Yeah. So right now, Warm Up Wednesday is scheduled for tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. Okay. And then free voice lesson Thursdays, TBD. If you're not new to the community, you know that I've been moving and traveling, and I'm still amidst my travel. So I might be traveling again on Thursday or Friday. I'm not entirely sure yet. So those two offerings may have to shift to the weekend or to different days this week. But if you're on TikTok, you go to my profile, and like to the left of my little profile picture, there's live events scheduled, and if you click on that, all the dates and times will pop up. You can even pre-register, and TikTok will remind you when I'm live in your time zone. Similar on YouTube, if you go to my homepage, you'll see upcoming live streams, right? And it'll same thing, you can click the notify me button, and then YouTube will let you know when I'm live in your area. Okay, so my sweet friends, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you're new here, welcome. I hope that you'll come back for another offering, and sign up for that email list. Like I said, I'm getting some group offerings together. I believe I will start teaching group classes in May, looking at mid-May right now. So, all right. Thank you, my friends. Have a lovely day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.